What's going on, everybody? In today's video, we are checking out Rush Roll the Bones interview. I think that this is from 1991. Roll the Bones, was that a tour in 1991? I'm guessing. It just says 1991 Roll the Bones interviews. So that's what we're checking out. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, 9 a.m., 4 p.m. I do them with my wife every day. We got bass, play-alongs, live performances, bands, musician tips, all kinds of videos. Definitely check it out. In the description below, Amazon affiliate links to all things Rush. Lots of other links, lots of information in the description below. Definitely check it out. All right, Rush interviews. They've been freaking fantastic. I've been loving these guys. They're just making me love them even more and more and more. So I'm like really down with it. So let's do this. Bam. This says 94, not 91.
Last year at a gala awards dinner in Toronto, Rush was presented with an Artist of the Decade award. Now, no question that after 18 records, it sold some 30-odd million copies around the world.
This is filmed on a potato.
They deserved to get the Artist of the Decade award. But the joke for the band was, well, for which decade are they honoring us? Actually, this event spurred yet another flood of questions about the band's longevity. And did they feel that they, in fact, had something musically and lyrically yet to say? Well, with Roll the Bones, the band's latest record, the band has proved, yes, once again, they have a lot to say, both musically and lyrically. They have a lot to write about. And, even more importantly, Rush remains a band that gives the listener something to think about.
The album is kind of based on the concept of chance and the kind of way it affects our lives in obvious and not so obvious ways. And Roll the Bones is an old expression for, you know, roll of the dice.
Before Presto, we were pretty exhausted, and we've talked about this before. We were kind of burned out from touring, and we took a good break and got back into that record with a lot of enthusiasm. And the tour that followed was probably one of the best tours we've ever done. It was paced well, and we went to, you know, really good parts of America, and
the good parts.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, we went to a bunch of good parts. Not all the good parts, mind you, but we went to a number of good parts there. And
what are the good? Never. As Alex was saying, the last tour was a lot of fun, and when it came time to do this record, I think we just found ourselves, you know, fired up, and we accomplished a lot of things in writing the album in terms of sound that seemed to have a lot of energy. And I think that it was a kind of a snowball effect. The more energy we were putting into what we were doing, the more we were getting back out of it.
Feels like a new beginning, is that what it is?
yeah, it sort of does.
New beginning.
Yeah.
That's a good new beginning.
Yeah.
I like that.
Video shoot.
You know, I'm gonna go talk to them when I come back.
I love that guy's hair.
If I could ask you to stay in an imaginary circle that's 1 yard out from that, that would be the first thing. The second thing is, if you wanted to join Geddy at a certain point like you did yesterday, because that looked cool, sort of join him on his mark. All right?
All right.
It's my mark.
Yep, I think it is.
Am I restricted to this mark?
Actually, it's restricted a little bit, but not, especially in these long shots, not, like let's say a yard in diameter around there. Let me ask you, what would you naturally do if you weren't restricted at all?
I'd probably walk in a yard in diameter around this.
What an amazing coincidence.
Right here.
I think, Neil, we're going to rotate you in both of these shots today, okay? If it gets to be too weird, just let me know. It's fine. Okay.
Geddy.
Unlike a lot of other rock and roll bands, the lyrics are very, very intelligent in a Rush song, and yet the music's still hard rocking. And that's what I look for as a video director when I want to do a successful video. I want lyrics that are more than just your typical nonsense throwaway lyrics, and I want a band that can really rock and roll. Rush is both those things.
You once again tackled some fairly heavy
fantastic.
stuff on this record, Neil.
think the element of chance in a random universe is particularly heavy.
Oh, really? I think it is. I mean, just the opening lines almost of Roll the Bones. Why are we here? Because we're here.
Yeah, well, it came by levels. I mean, as I mentioned in the bio, I started with a simple line in Face Up about turning a wild card down, and that came about through wordplay. I was just thinking about the phrase "turn it up," which is, you know, pretty elemental, pretty everyday sensual thing. You know, you like the music, turn it up. But then I was thinking about turning up other sensations, and it became a metaphor. And then I thought, well, what else do you turn up or turn down? Well, you turn a card down in euchre or some game. And I thought, well, that's a wild card. And then I thought, wild card, yeah. And then it became deeper. I started thinking, okay, the elements of wild card in all of our lives, you know, the choices we make, certainly, but the conditions that happen to be favorable or unfavorable to that choice. I mean, for all of us, the number of times we escape death, you know, as teenagers, doing crazy things or heedless things, truly thoughtless things, but we survive. And there's such an element of chance about that, too. So that whole element of chance just became such a great, it was a theme on its own, but also a metaphor for a lot of other thoughts. And the chance of enduring love is one aspect of it. How chance can be, for instance, no matter how intelligent you are born and how good your genes are, if you happen to be born in Chad or Ethiopia or born in Bulgaria any time in the last 100 years, I mean, the odds become frighteningly high against you. So all these things came into it where sometimes you can choose the odds, sometimes you can certainly improve the odds by the choices you make, and that's one factor that I wanted to make very clear because I didn't want it to seem futile. So that's why Roll the Bones I thought was the ultimate title, because it is the ultimate statement. In spite of all these questionings and thinking about contingency and the accidents that can happen in life, the essence of it still, you can't remain sort of helpless facing a universe of futility. You've got to do something, really, and either do something or not do something. It's both are a choice, so I figured choose the risk, you know, choose the adventure.
Tell me what Roll the Bones is about.
It's
This guy.
about fate, chance, and destiny.
This guy.
And do you believe in those concepts?
Not really, but, you know.
Well, how do you think musicianship, being a musician, being an artist in
What
a
was that
sense,
about?
because people who write great books, who paint paintings, in some way their immortality is affected because their work lives past them. Is your immortality affected because you're a musician?
I wouldn't think so, honestly. I've always had a sort of a sacrilegious view of pop music, that it's eminently disposable and it's meant to be topical, and it's kind of the journalism of the arts. You know, I don't mean this to be falsely humble at all. It's the way I look at all pop music that I like, however much I like it, is that it's a part of my life now, and it's meant to be topical. It's meant to reflect on my life. A friend of mine used the phrase recently of the soundtrack of your life is what he expects from a good album, that it should come along at the right time in his life to reflect his concerns, his passions, everything, and it should occupy that place in his life, and then he moves on and needs a new soundtrack for a new period of his life. And I think that's an apt metaphor for the way that I look at it, too, that it's a passing thing. Lyrics I consider should be like the editorial pages, but scrawled in graffiti. You know, it is, again, it's topical, and in a year it doesn't mean much. That's what it's meant to be, is a reflection of now. And I remember in the last album I used the metaphor of a mirror moving down the road, and sure enough, the mirror has to keep moving. You know, it can't go back and have flashbacks. And I think that's what a lot of it becomes in the past. So I'm quite happy to let the past go, and I'm uncomfortable with the whole idea, really, of music looking back too much. It's good to go back if something's been missed and pick it up stylistically. That's all very relevant, but the true retrograde music makes me kind of uneasy. It's like going back to the graveyard somehow.
That's why they call it dinosaur music.
Yeah.
I think our fans are incredible. We played a gig the other day. I don't remember where it is, and it's probably a good thing I don't remember. Well, actually, I probably do remember, but I won't say. But the audience was such a mix of 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, as well as 38, 40, 45-year-olds. I mean, there were a lot of bald heads out there and beards, and it's really incredible to see that.
It's like his audience now,
because it speaks
basically.
of the kind of loyalty
Oh,
that I think
Jesus.
we've gotten
Calm
from
down,
our fans,
guys.
that they've really grown up with the band.
Rush Roll the Bones tour coming soon to a city near you.
All right. I loved all the Neil parts. That was really awesome. Okay, so Neil is not your typical dodo head drummer, right? I mean, quite obviously. I mean, you could tell in his playing also, but like even without that, you know, he doesn't come off, you know, the drum set and just, you know, all that kind of thing. You know, he's obviously, you know, he writes the lyrics for the band and all, you know, he's comes off as a very smart guy. And I feel like this gave drummers who are not Neil, who are dodo birds, maybe I should just say cavemen. Yeah, just cavemen and women. Okay, geez. You know, the feel that maybe they're not just cavemen. Maybe they're more than cavemen. They have a chance at greatness because here's their shining example of, you know, like an actual, you know, intelligent, advanced being drummer. And for most of them, it's a false sense that they will never reach. Okay, I'm totally messing around and joking around. I'm totally joking around, so just calm yourselves. I'm joking a lot right now, okay? The whole baldness and that music video director who had the hair that looked like DeVito or whatever, whoever, you know, like, anyways. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, these guys are so great. You know, it's incredible how cool they are, you know, in their uncoolness, in their utter massive uncoolness. They're incredibly cool. It's mind-boggling. It's hard to put into words. It's you know, it's something that comes around once in a lifetime, and that is Rush. So, if you can't tell, it's early here. I'm still working on this coffee. And this is how I like to start things in the morning. Just goof off for the ridiculousness that will continue to ensue throughout the day. And it's always good to start with some Rush. I've done some Rush now. I've done some Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's always amazing. And lots of other things. I'm going to get into some Judas Priest and lots of other stuff. These interviews, you know, it gives me hope of how ridiculous and how to not take things super seriously as I watch people like Alex and Geddy. And then, you know, maybe I can be smart too as I watch Neil, things like that, you know. I'm probably not nearly fractionally as well read as Neil is. So, yep, that's what I'm saying. So you can lump me in with those dodo bird cavemen, women, drummers. It's all good. I'm not offended. All right. The good part of the video was the interview. Don't worry about me. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, reaction videos, bass videos, musician videos, all kinds of videos to check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.